start on over since we had that little glitch. Soria Moria Castle. There once upon a time a couple of folks who had a son called Halvor. Ever since he had been a little boy, he had been unwilling to do any work, and he just sat raking among the ashes. His parents sent him away to learn several things, but Halvor stayed nowhere. For when he had been gone 2 or 3 days, he always ran away from his master, hurried on home, and sat down in the chimney corner to grub among the ashes again. One day, however, a sea captain came and asked Halvor if he hadn't a fancy to come with him and to go to sea and behold foreign lands. And Halvor had a fancy for that, so he was not long in getting ready. However long they sailed, I have no idea, but after a long, long time, there was a terrible storm, and when it was over and all had become calm again, they knew not where they were, for they had been driven away to a strange coast of which none of them had any knowledge. As there was no wind at all, they lay there becalmed, and Halvor asked the skipper to give him leave to go on shore to look about, for he would much rather do that than lie there and sleep. Don't thou think that thou art fit to go where people can see thee? Said the skipper. Thou hast no clothes but those rags thou art going about in. Halvor still begged for leave, and at last he got it, but he was to come back at once if the wind began to rise. Halvor still begged for leave, and at once got it, but he was to come back as the wind rose. So he went on shore, and it was a delightful country. Wherever he went, there were wide plains with fields and meadows, but as for people, there were none to be seen. The wind began to rise, but Halvor thought that he had not seen enough yet, and that he would like to walk about a little longer, to try if he could not meet somebody. So after a while he came to a great highway, which was so smooth that an egg might have been rolled along it without breaking. Halvor followed this, and when evening drew near, he saw a big castle far away in the distance, and there were lights in it. So, as he had now been walking the whole day and had not brought anything to eat with him, he was frightfully hungry. Nevertheless, the nearer he came to the castle, the more afraid he was. The fire was burning in the castle, and Halvor went to the kitchen, which was more magnificent than any kitchen he had ever yet beheld. There were vessels of gold and silver, but no one human being was to be seen. When Halvor stood there for some time and no one had come out, he went in and opened a door, and inside a princess was sitting at her spinning wheel. Oh, nay, she cried, can't Christian folk dare to come hither? But the best thing that you can do is to go away again, for if not, the troll will devour you. A troll with 3 heads lives here. I should have just as well pleased if he had 4 heads more, for I should have enjoyed seeing the fellow, said the youth, and I won't go away, for I've done no harm, but you must give me something to eat, for I am frightfully hungry. When Halvor had eaten his fill, the princess told him to try if he could wield the sword which was hanging on the wall, but he could not wield it, nor could he even lift it up. Well, then, you must take a drink out of that bottle, which is hanging by the side, for that's what the troll always does when he goes out and wants to use his sword, said the princess. Halvor took a draught, and in a moment he was able to swing the sword about and with perfect ease. And now he thought it was high time for the troll to make his appearance. And at that very moment came a panting, he came panting for breath. Halvor got behind the door. "Hatoo," said the troll as he put his head in the door. "It smells as if there were a Christian man's blood here." "Yes, and you shall learn that there is," said Halvor, and cut off his head. The princess was so rejoiced to be free that she danced and sang, but then she remembered her sisters and said, "If my sisters but were free too." "Where are they?" asked Halvor. So she told them where they were. One of them had been taken away by a troll to his castle, which was 6 miles off, and the other had been carried off to the castle, which was 9 miles further off still. "But now," she said, "you must first help me get this dead body away from here." Halvor was so strong that he cleared everything away and made all clean and tidy very quickly. So then they ate and drank and were happy. And the next morning he set off in the gray light of dawn. He gave himself no rest, but walked or ran the livelong day. When he came in sight of the castle, he was just again a little afraid. It was more splendid than the other, but here too there was no human beings to be seen. So Halvor went into the kitchen and did not linger there either, but went straight in. Turning the pages. "Nay, do Christian folks dare to come here?" cried the second princess. "I know not how long it has been since I myself came. During all that time I have never seen a Christian man. It would be better for you to depart at once, for the troll who lives here has 6 heads." "No, I shall not go," said Halvor. "Even if he had 6 more, I would not." "He will swallow you up alive," said the princess, but she spoke to no purpose, for Halvor would not go. He was not afraid of the troll, but he wanted some meat and drink, for he was hungry after his journey. So she gave him as much as he would have, and then she once more tried to make him go away. "No," said Halvor, "I will not go, for I have not done anything wrong, and I have no reason to be afraid." "He won't ask you any questions about that," said the princess, "for he will take you without leave or right. But as you will not go, try if you can wield that sword which the troll uses in battle." He could not brandish the sword, so the princess said he was to take a draught from the flask which hung by its side, and when he had done, he could wield that sword. Soon afterwards, the troll came, and he was so large and stout that he was forced to go sideways to get through the door. When the troll got his first head in, he cried, "Hoot! I smell Christian man's blood here." With that, Halvor cut off the first head, and so on with the rest. The princess was now exceedingly delighted, But then she remembered her sisters and wished that they too were free. Halvor thought that might be managed and wanted to set off immediately. But first he had to help the princess to remove the troll's body. So it was not until morning that he was able to set off on his way. All right. It was a long way to the castle, and he both walked and ran to get there in time. Late in the evening, he caught sight of it, and it was very much more magnificent than either of the others. And this time, he was not the least bit afraid, but went into the kitchen and then straight into the castle. The princess was sitting, and then straightened was sitting, who was the princess who was sitting, who was so beautiful that there was never anyone her equal. She too said what the others had said, that no Christian folk had ever been there since she had come, and entered him and entreated him to go away again, or else the troll will eat him up alive. The troll had 9 heads, she told him. Yes, 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 and if he had 9 to add to 9, then I should still won't go away, said Halvor. He went and stood by the stove. The princess begged him very prettily to at least the troll should devour him. But Halvor had heard it all before. Let him come when he will. So she gave him the troll's sword, bade him to drink from the flask to enable him to wield it. At that same moment, the troll came breathing hard, and he was ever so much bigger and stouter than either of the others, and he too was forced to go sideways to get through the door. Hatu, what a smell of Christian blood there is here, he said. Then Halvor cut off the first head, and after that all the others. But the last one was the toughest of them all, and it was the hardest work that Halvor had ever done to get it off. But he still believed that he would have strength enough to do it, and now the princesses came to the castle and were together again, and they were happier than they had ever been in their lives, and they were delighted with Halvor, and he with them, and he was to choose the one he liked the best. But the 3 sisters, the youngest, loved him the best. But Halvor went about and was so strange and so mournful and quiet that the princesses asked him what it was he longed for, and if he did not like to be with them. He then said he did like to be with them, for they had enough to live on, and he was very comfortable there, but he longed to go home, for his father and mother were alive, and he had a great desire to see them again. They thought that this might be easily done. You shall go and return in perfect safety if you will follow our advice, said the princesses. So he said that he would do nothing that they did not wish, and then they dressed him so splendidly that he was like a king's son. They put a ring on his finger, and it was one which would enable him to go there and back again by wish. But they told him that he must not throw it away or name their names, for if he did, all his magnificence would be at an end, and then he would never see them again. If I were but at home again, if I were but here, said Halvor, and no sooner had he wished this than it was granted. Halvor was standing outside his father and mother's cottage before he knew what he was about. The darkness of the night was coming on, and when the father and mother saw such a splendid and stately stranger walk in, they were startled, and they both began to bow and curtsy. Halvor had inquired if he could stay there and have lodging for the night. No, that he certainly could not. We can give you no such accommodations, they said, for we have none of the things that are needed when a great lord like you is to be entertained. It will be better for you to go up to the farm. It is not far off, and you can see the chimney pots from here. And there they will have plenty of everything. Halvor would not hear of that. He was absolutely determined to stay where he was, but the old folks stuck to what they had said and told him that he was to go to the farm where he could get both meat and drink, whereas they themselves had not even a chair to offer him. No, said Halvor, I will not go up there until early tomorrow morning. Let me stay here tonight. I can sit down on the hearth. They could say nothing against that, so Halvor sat down on the hearth and began to rake amongst the ashes, just as he had done before when he was there idling away his time. They chattered much about many things and told Halvor of this and that, and at last he asked them if they'd ever had any children. Yes, they said, they had had a boy who was called Halvor, but they said they did not know where he had gone, and they could not even say whether he was alive or dead. Could I be he? Said Halvor. I should know him well enough, said the old woman, rising. Our Halvor was so idle and slothful that he never did anything at all, and he was so ragged that one hole ran into another all over his clothes. Such a fellow as he could never turn into such a man as you are. In a short time, the old woman had to go to the fireplace to stir the fire, and when the blaze lit up, Halvor, as it used to do when he was at home raking up the ashes, she knew him again. Good heavens, it's Halvor! And she said with such great gladness fell on the old parents that there were no bounds to it, and now he had to relent everything that had befallen him. And the old woman was so delighted with him that she would take him up to the farm at once to show off to the girls who had formerly looked down on him. So she went there first, and Halvor followed her. When they got there, she told them how Halvor had come home again, and now they should just see how magnificent he was. He looks like a prince. We shall see that he's just the same ragamuffin that he was before, said the girls, tossing their heads. At the same moment, Halvor entered, and the girls were so astonished that they left their kirtles lying in the chimney corner and ran away in nothing but their petticoats. When they came again, they were so shamefaced that they hardly dared to look at Halvor, towards whom they had always been so proud and haughty before. Aye, you've always thought that you were so pretty and dainty, and no one was equal to you, said Halvor. But you should just see the eldest princess whom I set free. You look like herdswoman compared to her, and the second princess is so much more prettier than you. But the youngest, who is my sweetheart, is more beautiful than either sun or moon. I wish to heaven they were here, and then you would see them. Scarcely had he said this before they were standing by his side, but then he was very sorrowful, for the words which they had said to him came to his mind. Up at the farm, a great feast was made ready for the princesses, and much respect paid to them, but they would not stay there. We want to go to your parents, they said to Halvor, so we can go out and look about. So we will go out and look about us. He followed them out, and then they came to a large pond outside the farmhouse. Very near the water, there was a pretty green bank, and there the princesses said they would sit down a while and while away the hour, for they thought it would be pleasant to sit and look out over the water, they said. There they sat down, and when they had sat for a short time, the youngest princess said, I may as well comb your hair a little, Halvor. So Halvor laid his head down on her lap, and she combed it, and it was not long before he fell asleep. Then she took her ring from him and put another in its place, and then she said to her sisters, hold me as I am holding you. I would that we were at Soria, Moria castle. When Halvor awoke, he knew that he had lost the princesses and began to weep and lament, and was so unhappy that he could not be comforted. In spite of all of his father's and mother's entreaties, he would not stay, but they bade him farewell, saying that he would never see them more, for if he did not find the princesses again, he did not think it was worthwhile to live. He again had $300, which he put into his pocket and went on his way. And when he had walked some distance, he met a man with a tolerably good horse. Halvor longed to buy it and began to bargain with the man. Well, I have not exactly been thinking of selling him, said the man. But if we were to agree, perhaps, Halvor inquired how much he wanted to have the horse. I did not have much. I did not give much for him, and he is not worth much. He is a capital horse to ride, but good for nothing at drawing. But he will always be able to carry your bag, provisions for you, if you walk or ride by turns. At last they agreed about the price, and Halvor laid his bag on the horse, and sometimes he walked and sometimes he rode. In the evening, when he came to the green field, where stood a great tree, under which he seated himself, and then he let the horse lay down and sleep. But before he did that, he took his bag off the horse. At daybreak, he set off again, for he did not feel as if he could take any rest. So he walked and rode the whole day. He walked and rode through a great wood, where there were many green places which gleamed very prettily among the trees. He did not know. Oh, that was bright, wasn't it? Hello, everybody. He did not know what just happened. There we go. Uh, he did not know where he was or whither he was going, but he never lingered long in any place than enough to let his horse get a little food. When they came to one of the green spots, while he himself took out his bag of provisions, so he walked and he rode, but it seemed to him that the wood would never come to an end. But on the evening of the second day, he saw a light shining through the trees. If only there were some people up there, I might warm myself and get something to eat, thought Halvor. When he got to the place where the light had come from, he saw a wretched little cottage, and through a small pane of glass, he saw a couple of old folks inside. They were very old, and as gray-headed as a pigeon, and the woman had such a long nose that she sat in the chimney corner and used it to stir the fire. Good evening, said the old hag. But what errand have you that brings you here? No Christian folks have been here for more than 100 years. So Halvor told her he wanted to get to Soria Moria Castle and inquired if she knew the way. No, said the old woman, that I do not, but the moon will be here pre- presently, and I will ask her, and she will know. She can easily see it. And so, when the moon stood clear and bright over the top trees, the old woman went out. Moon, moon, she screamed, canst thou tell me the way to Soria Moria Castle? No, said the moon, that I can't, for when I shone there, there was a cloud before me. Wait a little longer, said the old woman. Wait a little longer, said the old woman to Halvor, for the west wind will presently be here, and he will know it, for he breathes gently or blows into every corner. What have you, a horse too? She said when she came in again. Oh, let the poor creature loose in our bit of fenced pasture, and don't let it stand there starving at our very door. But won't you exchange him with me? We have a pair of old boots here which can give you 15 quarters of a mile with each step. You should have them for the horse, and then you will be able to get sooner to Mora Castle. Soria Moria Castle. Halvor consented to this at once and told the old woman, and the old woman was so delighted with the horse that she was ready to dance. For now I too shall be able to ride to church. She said Halvor could take no rest and wanted to set off immediately. But the old woman said that there was no need to hasten. Lie down on the bench and sleep a little, for we have no bed to offer you, and I will watch for the coming of the west wind. Ere long came the west wind, roaring so loud that the walls creaked. The old woman went out and cried, west wind, wind, west wind, canst thou tell me the way to Soria Moria Castle? Here is one who would go thither. Yes, I know it well, said the west wind. I am just on my way there to dry the clothes for the wedding which is to take place. If he is fleet of foot, he can go with me. Out ran Halvor. You will have to make haste if you meant to go with me, said the west wind, and away it went over hill and dale and morass, and Halvor had enough to do to keep up with it. Well now, I have no time to stay with you any longer, said the west wind, for I must first go and tear down a little bit of spruce before I go to the bleaching ground to dry the clothes. But just go along the side of the hill, and you will come to some girls who are standing there washing clothes, and then you will not have to walk far before you're at Soria Moria Castle. Shortly afterward, Halvor came to the girls who were standing washing, and they asked him if he had seen anything of the west wind who was to come and dry their clothes. Yes, said Halvor, he's only gone to break down a bit of spruce fir, and it won't be long before he is here. And then they put him in the right way, and when he came in front of the castle, it was full of horses and people that it swarmed with them. But Halvor was so ragged and torn with the following the west wind through the bushes and bogs that he kept on one side and would not go amongst the crowd until the last day, when the feast was to be held at noon. So when he was, hold on, what's the matter? I have to let a dog out. Hold on. What's wrong? sorry. False alarm. False alarm, guys. That little rascal was begging for treats. He acted like he had to go to the bathroom. That dog, what am I going to do with him? Marley. All right, so he was standing by the side of the road. All right. I saw it go. So he kept to the side until the last day when the feast was to be held at noon. So when was the usage and customs, all were to drink to the bride and the young girls who were present. The cupbearer filled the cups for each in turn, both the bride, the bridegroom, knights, and servants. And at last, after a very long time, he came to Halavar. He drank their health and then slipped the ring which the princess had put on his finger when they were sitting at the waterside into the glass, and ordered the cupbearer to carry the glass to the bride from him and greet her. When the princess at once arose from the table and said, "Who is the most worthy to have one of us? Who has delivered us from the trolls, or he who is sitting here as the bridegroom?" There could be but one opinion as to that. Everyone thought, and then when Halavar heard what they said, he was not long in flinging off his beggar rag and arraying himself as the bridegroom. "Yes, he is the right one," cried the youngest princess when she caught sight of him. So she flung the other out of the window and held her wedding with Halavar. I need another vowel. Koschei. Hey, Hub Interactive, welcome in. We have No Ego. Hey, No Ego. It has been too long. Welcome to our story. So glad to see you. Daisy is here. Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. We are on our next story of the night. It's kind of a wild night tonight, right? Hope everybody is having a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, has enjoyed wearing their green and eating their corned beef and hash, or anything else you ate. And happy birthday, Patrick Pierce. Big loves to you, babe. All right, the death of Koschei, the Deathless. In a certain kingdom, there lived a Prince Ivan. He had 3 sisters. The first one was Princess Moria, the second, Princess Olga, and the third, Princess Anne. When their father and mother lay at the point of death, they had thus enjoined their sons: "Give your sisters in marriage to the first suitors who come to woo them. Don't go keeping them by you." They died, and the prince buried them, and then, to solace his grief, he went with his sisters into the garden green to stroll. Suddenly the sky was covered by a black cloud, and a terrible storm arose. "Let's go home, sisters," he cried. Hardly had they gone into the palace when the thunder pealed, the ceiling split open, and into the room there came a flying falcon, bright. The falcon smote upon the ground, became a brave youth, and said, "Hail, Prince Ivan! Before I come as a guest, but now I have come as a wooer. I wish to propose for your sister, the Princess Moria. If you find favor in the eyes of my sister, I will not interfere with her wishes. Let her marry you in God's name." The Princess Moria gave consent. The falcon married her and bore her away into his own realm. Days followed. Hours chased hours. A whole year goes by. One day, Princess Ivan and his two sisters went out to stroll in the garden green. Again there arose a storm cloud with whirling whirlwind and lightning. "Let's go home, sisters," cried the prince. Scarcely had they entered the palace when thunder crashed, the roof burst into blaze, and the ceiling split in twine, and in flew an eagle. The eagle smote upon the ground and became a youth. "Hail, Prince Ivan! Before I come as a guest, but now I had come as a wooer." And he asked for the hand of Princess Olga. Prince Ivan replied, "If you find favor in the eyes of Princess Olga, then let her marry you. I will not interfere with her liberty of choice." Princess Olga gave her consent and married the eagle. The eagle took her and carried her off to his own kingdom. Another year went by. Princess Ivan said to his youngest sister, "Let us go out and stroll in the garden green." They strolled about for a time, and again there arose a storm cloud with whirlwind and lightning. "Let us return home, sister," he said. They returned home, but they hadn't had time to sit down when thunder crashed, the ceiling split, and in flew a raven. The raven smote upon the floor and became a youth. The former youth had been handsome, but this one was handsomer still. "Well, Prince Ivan, before I came as a guest, but now I have come as a wooer. Give me the Princess Anne to wife. I won't interfere with my sister's freedom. If you gain her affections, let her marry you." So the Princess Anne married the raven, and he bore her away into his own realm. Princess Ivan was left alone. A whole year he lived without his sisters. Then he grew weary and said, "I will set out in search of my sisters." He got ready for the journey. He rode, and one day he saw a whole army lying dead on the plain. He cried aloud, If there be a living man there, let him make answer. Who has slain this mighty host?" There replied unto him a living man, "All this mighty host has been slain by the fair Princess Morvina." Princess Ivan rode further on and came to the white tent set forth to meet the fair Princess Maria Morvina. "Hail, Prince," says she, "whither does God send you, and is your free will or against your will?" Prince Ivan replied, "Not against their will do brave youths ride." "Well, if your business is not pressing, tarry a while in my tent." Thereat the Prince Ivan, that's a weird word, thereat the Princess Ivan glad. He spent 2 nights in the tent and found favor in the eye of Mary Morvina, and she married him. The fair Princess Mary Morvina carried him off into her own realm. They spent some time together, and then the princess took it into her head to go a warring. So she handed over all the housekeeping affairs to Prince Ivan and gave him these instructions: "Go about everywhere, keep watch over everything, only do not venture to look into that closet there." He couldn't help doing so. The moment Mary Morvina had gone, he rushed to the closet, pulled open the door, and looked in, and there hung Koschei the Deathless, feathered by 20 chains. Then Koschei entreated Prince Ivan, saying, "Have pity upon me and give me a drink. 10 years long have I been here in torment, neither eating or drinking. My throat is utterly dry." The prince gave him a bucket full of water. He drank it up and asked for more, saying, "A single bucket of water will not quench my thirst. Give me more." The prince gave him a second bucket. Koschei drank it up and was asked for a third. But when he had swallowed the third bucketful, he regained his former strength, gave his chains a shake, and broke all 12 at once. "Thanks, Prince Ivan," cried Koschei the Deathless. "Now you will sooner see your own ears than marry Morvina." And out of the window he flew in the shape of the terrible whirlwind. And when he came up to the Princess Mary Morvina, as she was going away, laid hold of her and carried her off home with him. But Prince Ivan wept full sore, and he arrayed himself and set out wandering, saying to himself, "Whatever happens, I will go out and look for Mary Morvina." One day passed, another day passed, and at dawn of the third day he saw a wondrous palace, and by the side of the palace stood an oak, and on the oak sat a falcon bright. Down flew the falcon from the oak, smote upon the ground, and turned into the brave youth, and cried aloud, "Ah, dear brother-in-law, how deals the Lord with you?" Out came running the Princess Mary, joyfully greeted her brother Ivan, and begged, inquiring after his health, and telling him all about herself. The prince spent 3 days with them. Then he said, "I cannot abide with you. I must go and search for my wife, the fair Princess Mary Morvana, actually. Yeah, we'll use Morvana, that's the right name." "Hard will it be for you to find her," answered the falcon. "At all events, leave with us your silver spoon. We will look at it and remember you." So Prince Ivan left his silver spoon at the falcon's and went on his way. On he went one day, on he went another day, and by the dawn of the third day he saw a palace still grander than the former one, and hard by the palace stood an oak, and up in the oak sat an eagle. Down flew the eagle from the oak, smote upon the ground, and turned into the brave youth, and cried aloud, "Rise up, Princess Olga! Hither comes your brother dear." The Princess Olga immediately ran to meet him and began kissing him and embracing him, asking after his health and telling him all about hers. When Princess Ivan stopped 3 days, then he said, "I cannot stay any longer. I am going to look for my wife, the fair Princess Mary Morvana." Yeah, anyway. "Hard will it be for you to find her," replied the eagle. "Leave us the silver fork. We will look at it and remember you." He left the silver fork behind and went on his way. He traveled one day. He traveled 2 days. At daybreak on the third day, he saw a palace more grand than the first. And near the palace stood an oak, and in the oak sat a raven. Down flew the raven from the oak, smote upon the ground, turned into a brave youth, and cried aloud, "Princess Anna, come forth, your brother is coming." Out ran the Princess Anna, greeted joyfully, and began kissing and embracing and asking after his health, telling him all about herself, Princess Ivan stayed with them for 3 days, and then he said, "Farewell. I am going to look for my wife, Princess Mary Morvana. Morvan. No. Hard will it be for you to find her," replied the raven. "Anyhow, leave your silver snuff box with us, and we will remember you by it." The princess nodded. Hold on. What's the matter? No. The princess. Oh, princess. Oh, Prince Ivan, why did you disobey me and go? One day he went. The prince handed over the silver snuff box, took his leave, and went away. One day went after another, and then the third day he came to where Mary Morvana was. She caught sight of her lover, flung her arms around his neck, and burst into tears and exclaimed, "Oh, Prince Ivan, why did you disobey me and go look into the closet, letting the Koschei, the Deathless, letting out the Koschei, the Deathless? Forgive me, Mary Morvina. Remember not the past. Much better fly with me while Koschei, the Deathless, is out of sight. Perhaps he won't catch us." So they got ready and fled. Now, Koschei was out hunting. Towards evening he was returning home, when his good steed stumbled beneath him. "Why stumblest thou, sorry jade? Scent thou some ill?" The steed replied, "Prince Ivan has come and carried Mary Morvina off. Is it possible to catch them? It is possible to sow wheat, to wait till it grows up, to reap it, to thresh it, to grind it to flour, to make 5 pies, to eat those pies, and then to start in pursuit, and even then to be in time." Koschei galloped off and caught up Princess Ivan. "Now," says he, "this time I will forgive you and return for your kindness in giving me water to drink. And the second time I will forgive you, but the third time beware, I will cut you to bits." He then took Mary Morvina from him and carried her off. But Prince Ivan sat down on a stone and burst into tears. He wept and then returned back again to Mary Morvina. Now Koschei the Deathless happened not to be held. "Let us fly, Mary Morvina. Ah, Prince Ivan, he will catch us. Suppose he does catch us. At all events, we shall have spent an hour or two together." So they got ready and fled, and Koschei the Deathless was returning home. His good steed stumbled. "And why stumblest thou, sorry jade? Scentest thou some ill? Princess Ivan has come and carried off Mary Morvina. Is it possible to catch them? It is possible to sow barley, to wait till it grows up, to reap it and thresh it, and brew beer, to drink ourselves drunk on it, to sleep our fill, and then to set off in pursuit, and yet to still be in time." Koschei galloped off, caught Prince Ivan. "Didn't I tell you that you should not see Mary Morvina any more than your own ears?" And then he took her away and carried her off home with him. Prince Ivan was left there alone. He wept, and then he went back again for Mary Morvina. Koschei happened to be away from home at that moment. "Let us fly away, Mary Morvina." "Oh, Prince Ivan, he is sure to catch us and hew you in pieces." "Let him hew away. I cannot live without you." So they got ready and fled. Koschei the Deathless was returning home when his good steed stumbled. "Why stumblest thou? Scent thou any ill?" Prince Ivan had come and carried off Mary Morvina. Koschei galloped off, caught Prince Ivan, chopped him into little pieces, put him in a barrel, smeared it with pitch, and bound it with iron hoops, flung it in the blue sea. But Mary Morvina he carried off home. And that very time, the silver articles turned black, which Prince Ivan had left with his brother-in-laws. Ah, they said, the evil is accomplished, sure enough. Then the eagle hurried to the blue sea and caught hold of the barrel and dragged it ashore. The falcon flew away for the water of life, and the raven for the water of death. Afterwards, all three men broke open the barrel, took out the remains of Prince Ivan, washed them, and put them back together in fitting order. The raven sprinkled them with the water of death, and the pieces joined together. The body became whole. The falcon sprinkled with the water of life, and Prince Ivan shuddered, stood up, and said, "Ah, what a time I've been sleeping." "You'd have gone on sleeping a good deal longer if it hadn't been for us," replied the brother-in-laws. "Now come and pay us a visit." "Not so, brothers. I shall go and look for Mary Morvina." And when he had found her, he said to her again, "Find out from Koschei the Deathless whence he got so good at a steed." So Mary Morvina chose a favorable moment and began asking Koschei about it. Koschei replied, "Beyond thrice 9 lands in the 13th kingdom, on the other side of the fairy river, there lives a Baba Yaga. She is so good a mare that she flies right around the world on it every day, and she has many other splendid mares. I watched her herds for 3 days without losing a single mare, and in return for that, the Baba Yaga gave me a foal." "But how did you get across the fairy river?" "Why, I have a handkerchief of this kind. When I wave it thrice in the right hand, there springs up a very lofty bridge, and the fire cannot reach it." Mary Morvina listened to all of this and repeated it to Prince Ivan. And she carried off the handkerchief and gave it to him. So he managed to get across the fiery, not fairy. That was my learning disabilities, my dyslexia right there. And so he managed to get across the fiery river and then went to Baba Yaga's. Long went he without getting anything either to eat or drink. At last he came across an outlandish bird and its young ones. Says Prince Ivan, "I'll eat one of these chickens." "Don't eat, Prince Ivan," begs the outlandish bird. "Some time or another I'll do you a good turn." He went on farther and saw the hives of bees in the forest. "I'll get a bit of honeycomb," he says. "Don't disturb my honey, Prince Ivan," exclaimed the queen bee. "Some time or another I'll do you a good turn." So he didn't disturb it, but went on. He met Presently there met him a lioness with her cub. "Anyhow, I'll eat the lion cub," he says. "I'm so hungry I feel quite unwell." "Please let us alone, Prince Ivan," begged the lioness. "Some time or another I'll do you a very good turn." "Very well, have it your own way," he says. Hungry and faint, he wandered, walking farther and further, and at last he came to where stood the house of Baba Yaga. Round the house there were 12 poles in a circle, and on each of the 11 of the poles was stuck a human head. The 12th alone remained unoccupied. "Hail, Granny! Hail, Prince Ivan! Wherefore have you come? Is it of your own accord or on compulsion?" "I have come to earn from you a heroic steed. So be it, Prince. You won't have to serve a year with me, but just 3 days. If you take good care of my mares, I will give you a heroic steed. But if you don't, why then you mustn't be annoyed at finding your head stuck up atop the last pole up there. Prince Ivan agreed to these terms. The Baba Yaga gave him food and drink and bade him to set aside his business. But the moment he had driven the mares afield, they cocked up their tails and ran away. They tore across the meadow in all directions. Before the prince had time to look around, they were all out of sight. Thereupon he began to weep and to disquiet himself, and then he sat down upon a stone and went to sleep. But when the sun was near its setting, the outlandish bird came flying up to him and awakened him, saying, "Arise, Prince Ivan, the mares are at home now." The prince arose and turned towards home. There Baba Yaga was storming and raging at her mares and shrieking, "Whatever did you come home for? How could we have helped coming home?" They said they. "There came flying birds from every part of the world, and all but pecked our eyes out." "Well, well, tomorrow don't go galloping over the meadows, but disperse among the thick forest." Ivan slept all night. In the morning, Baba Yaga sang to him, "Mind, Prince, if you don't take good care of the mares, if you lose merely one of them, your whole head shall be stuck on that pole." He drove the mares afield. Immediately they cocked up their tails and dispersed among the thick forest. Again the prince sat down on the stone and wept and wept and wept. And the sun went down behind the forest. Up came the running lioness. "Arise, Prince Ivan, the mares are all collected." Prince Ivan arose and went home. More than ever did Baba Yaga storm at the mares and shriek, "Do you want to get up or down? Come here. Come here." Oh Lord, this puppy Marley is giving me a fit. Stop. How could we are? What did you come back home for? "We couldn't help but come home," said the beast of prey, "came running at us from all parts of the world, and they all but tore us utterly to pieces. Well, tomorrow run off into the blue sea." Again the Prince Ivan slept through the night. The next morning Baba Yaga sent him forth to watch the mares. "If you don't take good care of them," she said, "your bold head will be stuck on that pole." He drove the mares afield. Immediately they cocked up their tails, disappeared from sight, and fled into the deep blue sea. There they stood up on their necks. They stood up in their necks in water. Prince Ivan sat down on the stone and wept and fell asleep. But when the sun had set and the forest up came flying a bee and said, "Arise, Prince, the mares are all collected. But when you get home, don't let the Baba Yaga set eyes on you. Go into the stable and hide behind the manger. There you will find a sorrel colt rolling in muck. Did you steal it? Do you steal it, and at the dead of night ride away from the house?" Prince Ivan arose, slipped into the stable, and lay down behind the manger, while Baba Yaga was storming away at her mares and shrieking, "Why did you come back? How could we help not coming back? There came flying bees in countless numbers from all parts of the world and began stinging us on all sides till the blood came." The Baba Yaga went to sleep. In the dead of the night, the Prince Ivan stole the sorrel colt, saddled it, jumped on its back, and galloped away to the fiery river. When he came to that river, he waved the handkerchief 3 times in the right hand, and suddenly springing goodness knows henceforth, there hung across the river, high in the air, a splendid bridge. The prince rode across the bridge and waved the handkerchief twice, only in his left hand. And there, hey honey, welcome in, there remained across the thin river, ever so thin a bridge. When Baba Yaga got up in the morning, the sorrel colt was not to be seen. She set off in pursuit. At full speed did she fly, her iron mortar urging it with the pestle, sweeping away her traces with a broom. She dashed up the fiery river, gave a glance, and said, "A capital bridge!" She drove on the bridge, but had only gone halfway when the bridge broke in two, and the Baba Yaga went flop into the river. There truly did she meet with a cruel death. Prince Ivan fattened up the colt in the green meadows, and it turned into a wondrous steed. When he rode to where Mary Morvina was, she came rushing out and flung herself on his neck, crying, "But what means has God brought you back to my life thus and thus?" he said. "Now come along with me. I am afraid, Prince Ivan, if Koschei catches us, you will be cut to pieces again." "No, he won't catch us. I have a splendid heroic steed now. It flies just like a bird." So they got on its back and rode away. Koschei the Deathless was returning home when his horse stumbled beneath him. "What thou art stumbling for, sorry jade? Dost thou scent ill?" Prince Ivan has come and carried Mary Morvina off. "Can't we catch them?" "God knows. Prince Ivan has a horse now which is better than I." "Well, I can't stand it," said Koschei the Deathless. "I will pursue." After a time he came up with Prince Ivan, lighting on the ground, and was going to chop him with his sharp sword. But at that moment Prince Ivan's horse made smote Koschei the Deathless full swing with his hoof and cracked his skull, and the prince made an end of him with his club. Afterward the prince heaped a pile of wood, lit a bonfire, and it turned into a pyre and scattered ashes to the wind. I'm leaving part out because I am reading on YouTube. Then Myra Morvina mounted Koschei's horse, and Prince Ivan got on his own. They rode away and visited first the raven, then the eagle, and then the falcon. Wherever they went, they met with joyful greetings. "Ah, Prince Ivan, what, we never expected to see you again. Well, it wasn't for nothing that you have given yourself so much trouble. What a beauty, Mary Morvina. One might search all the world and never find one like her." And so they visited and feasted, and afterwards they all went to their own realms. Wow, guys, how about that? We jumped from France fairy tales into some Russian stories. So I have definitely never, ever, ever heard that one. Honeybee, welcome. Hub Interactive, I so thank you for being here with me. Yes, Honeybee24 says, "Welcome tea time. Hello, hello, hello." And I thank you all. Frap Dog jumped in. He is saying hey to us up in the, look at that cheek. And I have done nothing since Christmas but enjoy the party. Party's about over, guys. Anyway, Frap Dog is saying hey. Hub Interactive, if you guys haven't seen, she has a great channel. Pop on her lives and she will give you writing your name right there in her lives. Honeybee said hello. Yeah. Oh, and Frap Dog 26, he's a gamer, but he also mixes and does stuff with his shorts. They're really well done. Those shorts are very interesting. Honey, at Honeybee is Miss B. I was thinking you were somebody I knew. Thank you so much, Miss B. I appreciate it. These fairy tales are great. I am really liking this book. It's called Fairy, The Red Fairy, and it is a compilation of books. It was written in 1924. It was compiled in 1924, and it is just from all over the world, which is so funny because I am severely dyslexic. So these words really, really trip me up. Yeah, like really trip me up. And I can't tell, like I had to get halfway through it. As soon as they said Ivan and Olga, I kind of figured that one was from Russia. But I had to use some keys. And then tomorrow, The Black Thief and the Knight of the Glen. That seems kind of Irishy. The Master Thief. Yeah. But these are great stories. I thank you guys for all coming over and hanging out with me. And we will do it all again on, today's Tuesday. I will see you guys Thursday. In the meantime, be sure you turn your notifications on. I am changing my days for my videos. So I have a little video dropping tomorrow, and then we will meet on Thursday. I am changing my midday meditations to go on Monday and Fridays only at midday. So that's my new schedule over there. I think that's going to be plenty. Thanks, guys, for spending an hour with me. And until Thursday, I will see you on these YouTube streets. Stay fabulous, my nutty friends. Oh, remember, I got stuff happening back in the nut bowl. So check that out. Yeah, we'll see you later. Bye, guys.